Hi, this is a video about just really kind of quick determining the excess reactant problems. It's a worksheet that we did in class. So if you were struggling at all, this video might help. The first thing you want to do always, I think, when you do these problems is take your given information and write it above the reactants in the reaction. So in this question, we have 0.764 moles of P4, and we have 0.225 moles of S8. So to determine the limiting reactant, you want to take one of them, those beginning amounts. So if I take my 0.764 moles of P4 and I want to convert it using my mole ratio into the other reactant. So this is how many moles of S8. Or I could have, and you don't have to do both, just do one or the other. So you might want to, while you could even work on this worksheet, like try one and then watch my solution. So I could have, picked the other, starting with the sulfur and going to the phosphorus. And when I do that, I get 0.600 moles of P4. So once I have those, either one of them, I always want to ask myself, do I have this? Do I have 0.287 moles of S8? And you can see here that I don't. So when I say no, I don't have it, then that is my limiting. But it could be just by chance that you pick the other way, which I have down below, and you'll still get the same limiting. So in this question, I still ask myself, do I have 0.6 moles of P4? And up here, you can see that, yes, I do. So that means this is my excess reactant. And then the one I started with is my limiting. So let me just show you a few more. And again, I'd recommend that you try one and then check. So the next one, again, I would take my amounts that are given in moles and put them up above in the reaction, because those are the numbers you're really going to use later when you do more complex problems where you calculate the amounts of the products and things like that. So for this one, I'm going to do both ways again, but again, you only have to do one. But I'm going to take my moles of iron, convert to moles of oxygen. And when I do that, I get 12.5 moles of oxygen. Or I could do this, 22 moles of oxygen, convert it to moles of iron. And I get 29.3. So either one, if I do this, I still have to evaluate. So do I have 12.5 moles of oxygen? Yes, I do. I have 22 moles. So that's your excess. This is your LR. If I went the other way, I would ask myself, do I have this? Do I have 29.3 moles of iron? And my answer is no. So my LR is the iron. Let's do two more. So now, again, I'm going to label. So there's 50.25 moles of zinc sulfide, 72.11 moles of O2. So I'm going to do both again, but again, just choose one of the given amounts, use the mole-mole ratio to switch to moles of the other reactant. So when I do this, or I maybe went the other way, so I would have taken my 72.11 moles of O2 and switched it into moles of zinc sulfide. So then I ask myself, do I have 75.38 moles of oxygen? And my answer is no. I only have 72.11. So then my LR is the oxygen. If I went the other way, do I have 48.07 moles of zinc sulfide? Yeah, I have 50. So then this is my LR. Okay, let's do one more. So in this one, again, got 2.8 moles of calcium hydroxide and 6.4 moles of hydrochloric. So I'm going to start with my calcium hydroxide and convert it into the hydrochloric. So when I do that, I get 5.6 moles of HCl. Or I could have went the other way, 6.4 moles of HCl, 1 mole of calcium hydroxide for every 2 moles of HCl. And then I get 3.2 moles of calcium hydroxide. So now I have to ask myself, do I have this? Do I have 5.6 moles of HCl? And my answer is yeah. I have 6.4, so I have more than enough. So that means this is my excess reactant, and this is my LR. The other way, again, I would say, do I have it? Do I have 3.2 moles of calcium hydroxide? And the answer is no. So that makes this my LR, and this is my ER. So either way, my limiting reactant is the same. So then to do that other column, once you know which one is your excess reactant, you want to start with your limiting and convert it into your excess. So let's assume I didn't already do that. So I know my limiting in this problem is the sulfur. So I would take my 0.225, the beginning amount of my sulfur. So notice I'm not ever going to use this number. And then I'm going to convert that into my moles of phosphorus. And when I do that, I get 0.600 moles. That's how much is really going to be used or reacted. So if I take my excess reactant amount that was given in the question and I subtract the amount that's used, that'll tell me how much is left. So in the question, I was given 0.764 moles. So I'm going to use 0.600 mole. So my leftovers are 0.164 moles then. Let me show you one more of those. So here in this problem, remember our LR, start with your LR, your limiting reactant, convert it to the excess reactant, and just assume that I didn't already do this. Depending on your just chance whether you did it or not in the previous part. So then that's how much I'm going to use, 12.5 moles. So I'm going to take my beginning amount of moles that's given in the question and subtract the amount that's going to really react or be used. And then that is how many excess leftovers there are.